There's very few people out there in the personal development industry that say, you're stuck in personal development. Stop self-help. In my book, I have a whole chapter. It's called Stop Fixing and Start Living. And I experienced this too. In my late 20s, I was doing something similar to EFT or tapping. I was doing this and I was just gung-ho, man. I had notebooks filled with all my negative emotions, all my limiting beliefs, traditional Chinese meridians that were attached to it, how far back they went, the origin point. Like, I was in it, man. I did that for a few years and I had tremendous healing. But eventually there was this one evening where I'm looking at my notebook. I start turning the pages and I'm going through this and I'm like, I'm adding to this list a lot faster than I'm taking away from it. I started getting this backlog of all my negative emotions and limiting beliefs that I had to clear and heal. This is never going to end. By the time I catch up on all this, it's going to be 10 more years. And within those 10 years, I'm going to have some traumas or stuff that has happened in that time. Oh my God, this is never going to realize peace. I was so addicted to this. I remember I would be on dates, talking with women out at a cafe or wherever I was. Stuff would come up and I'd say, excuse me, I would go to the bathroom and I'd start doing this healing thing, coming out and being like, okay, this was something that I felt like I had to do until I was enough to get the results I wanted in my life. That realization of this is never going to end. All of this fixing helps, but it doesn't lead to peace. There's no end. Eventually I figured out you're just growing through your whole life. You're always learning. You're always changing. This is happening. You don't have to put your life on hold until you get there because you're never there. At the same time, the energy of fixing came from this inherent place of being broken. So it was like the more and more that I was fixing myself, the further I was getting away from my true self, from who I really was. Because yes, I fixed myself, but that fixing inherently reinforced the lie that I was broken to begin with. Actually healing that sort of core thing of I'm broken, that in itself ended the need to work on myself from a fixing perspective. It didn't mean I never learned anything more, that I never grew or healed more. It just meant that my addiction to fixing myself so I didn't feel broken and not enough and unlovable, that ended. That stopped. That is what led me out of suffering, rather than more fixing, 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 because it just took me further away from the truth. I say it all the time to my clients and myself, just stop. Oh, but I need to do, no, stop. I'm not, stop. But if I don't, stop. Just stop all the neurotic compulsion need to fix yourself. And then sit with that. All right, what happens if I'm not doing anything? Well, then all that stuff that's coming up, spiraling out of control, that's all the stuff you're using self-help to avoid feeling. One of the big important things here is that this is not something I'd recommend to a beginner, to someone who's just realizing, oh my God, I've been a victim. Good. Yes, you have. Now do something about it. Yes, I can do something about it. We'll start doing something about it. Great. Because what happens is if you tell a victim what I'm telling you now, you just say, oh, okay, see, literally there's nothing I can do about it because there's nothing wrong with me, so I'm just going to sit here and do nothing, and their life stays the same. That's not the energy you want in that beginning. You want that. I can do something. I can change. The problem is so many of us that have been victims, that have been at the effect of the world, realize that's not true, that we don't have to be. And so we start power tripping and say, I'm a creator of the universe and I can control everything. And then we start controlling more and more and more. We start saying, I can do everything about everything. I read 100 books in a week and retain nothing. We get addicted to that. Then you realize there's an upper limit to that. You reach a certain plateau. That strategy no longer serves. So it's not a one-size-fits-all at every point of your journey. What works for a beginner might exactly be the opposite as what the expert needs.